Very good morning, students. Let us continue chapter number 2. Nuts comes to Plumfield. Let's start. A great bell rang and a loud tramping through the hall announced supper. 12 boys, 6 on a side, stood behind their chairs, prancing with impatience to begin. But no one can sit down till Mrs. Bear was in her place, behind the teapot, with Teddy on her left and Nut on her right. This is our new boy, Nut Blackie. After supper, you can say, "How do you do?" Here, tramping stands for walking in a manner that makes a lot of noise. Prancing means jumping around. Explanation of this para. The supper was announced with the ring of the bell. All the 12 boys were waiting impatiently for Mrs. Bear to take her seat so that they can start their dinner. Mrs. Bear introduced Nut Blackie to the boys and said that they can greet him after their dinner. "Gently, boys, gently." As she spoke, everyone stared at Nut and then whisked into their seats, trying to be orderly and failing utterly. Nut found himself very well off behind the tall pitchers, which Tommy Banks just around the corner, and Mrs. Bear close by to fill up plate and mug as fast as he could empty them. Here, whisked stands for moved quickly. Pitcher means jug. Explanation. As Mrs. Bear introduced Nut, all the boys stared looking at him and then took their seats for their food. Nut filled his plate for dinner after Mrs. Bear and Tommy Banks. Mrs. Bear put Nut next to Tommy because that roly-poly boy had a frank and social way with him, very attractive to shy persons. Nut felt this and had made very small confidence during supper, which gave Mrs. Bear the key of the new boy's character. Better than if she had talked to herself. Roly-poly stands for plump. Social way means in a friendly manner. Confidence means secret about himself. Here, Mrs. Bear had put Nut with Tommy because he was very friendly and social with the new and shy boys. She was happy to see that this hard worked better than she would have talked to him. Now, in this letter which Mr. Lawrence had sent with Nut, he had said, let me start. "Here is a cause after you own my own heart. This poor lad is an orphan now, sick and friendless. He has been street musician, and I found him in a cellar, mourning for his dead father and his lost violin. I think there is something in him. You cure his overtaxed body. Let Fritz help his neglected mind, and when he is ready, I will see if he is genius or only a boy, while a talent which may earn his bread for him. Give him a trial, Teddy." Let me explain this letter. In the letter to Mrs. Bear, Mr. Lawrence is informing her that he found an orphan boy in a cellar who was a street musician. He requests for his mourning boy who lost his father and violin to give him a chance to live and to prove his talent. "Of course, we will," cried Mrs. Bear as she read the letter, and when he saw Nut, she felt at once that whether he was a genius or not, here was a lonely sick boy who needed just what she loved to give, a home and motherly care. Both she and Mr. Bear observed him quietly, and they saw much about Nut that pleased them. He was a thin, pale boy of 12, with blue eyes and a good forehead under the rough neglected hair. Annex's scared face, a sensitive mouth that trembled when a keen glance fell on him, while a gentle speech called up a look of a gratitude. Very sweet to see. Bless the poor dear. He shall fiddle all day long if she likes, said Mrs. Bear to herself. Here, gratitude stands for thankful. Fiddle stands for violin. Explanation of this para. On reading the letter, Mr. Lawrence, Mrs. Bear thought that whether the nut was genius or not, but he needed a home and motherly care, which she loves to give, and bless the poor nut, and thought that he can play the violin all day if he loves to do that. So after supper, when the lads flocked into the schoolroom for more hijinks, Mrs. Jaw appeared with a violin in her hand and went to Nut, who sat in a corner. Now, my lad, give us a little tune. We want a violin in our band, and I think you will do it nicely. Here, hijinks stands for noisy fun. After the meals, all the boys gathered in the school room for some more fun. Mrs. Joe came and asked Nut to play violin, as they were looking to add one more violinist in their group.